This is the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast, and you're listening to episode 4, From Critical Care to Men's Health, a Nurse Practitioner's Journey. Mr. Eric Taylor shares his extensive journey from a critical care registered nurse to a pioneering family nurse practitioner. He discusses his impactful roles in education, his dedication to men's health through Pryority Male LLC, and the insights he's gained over his 27-year career. Join us as we explore the challenges and triumphs of a healthcare professional dedicated to making a difference.
You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites.
No login, no problem. No matter if social media isn't your thing or you're taking a break, you can listen in right on our website. Save your data and this episode by downloading it from our website, nursinginspired.com/podcast. So if you have to take a pause, you don't lose your place where you were listening or your battery power. That'll also help our podcast rankings rise to the top.
This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers.
Mr. Eric Taylor is a graduate of Auburn University, where he holds a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and a graduate of the University of South Alabama, where he holds a Master of Science in Nursing. He has been a registered nurse for over 27 years, of which the last 16 years he has worked as a certified family nurse practitioner. Mr. Taylor has served in various clinical administrative roles, including critical care registered nurse, primary care nurse practitioner, GI hepatology nurse practitioner, telehealth, and advanced practice registered nurse council chair. He has several presentations, research projects, and publications to his credit. He has served as NP faculty in the Primary Care Center of Excellence, one of only 7 in the nation, at the Michael E. Bakey VA Medical Center, and as a clinical instructor at the University of Texas Civic School of Nursing, Family Nurse Practitioner program. He is also a loving husband, proud father, and life member in the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, where he has held multiple leadership positions in his local chapter. He is the founder of Pryority Male LLC, a men's health and wellness education service in the Houston market. Well, all right. Welcome, everybody. We are live here on Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Men's Health Month. And actually, this is the last day of CNA week. So happy CNA week to all of our CNAs out there as well, and past CNAs. I want to welcome now my guest, Eric Taylor. Welcome. How are you today?
I am great, Ms. Flowers. How are you?
I am fine. And where are you hailing in from, actually?
I'm here in Houston. I'm in one of the Houston suburbs. You know, Houston is so big, so we just call everything Houston, kind of like Atlanta, LA, a few other large metropolitan cities, but I'm in Houston.
Gotcha. Okay. I knew you were same time zone as me, but I didn't know where. Okay. Well, all right. Well, welcome from H-Town, and I'm from Chi-Town here. So thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to jump right in. You have an incredible bio and just backstory and history. Definitely, quite some time in nursing. And so take us back and tell us about your journey of what inspired you into a career in nursing. How old you were in this process and like how many schools you applied to. Like, take us back to those early times.
All right. Well, First of all, happy Juneteenth, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Fallon, for this great welcome to your platform. And I want to wish you much continued success in what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And to all the future Listen Up Future Nurse podcast followers, y'all stay tuned. She got some great stuff coming for y'all. So, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. But so my journey as a nurse, let's see, I'm from a small town in Alabama, central Alabama, actually right about 10 miles from the Edmonds-Pettus Bridge, Selma, Alabama, if you all are familiar with Bloody Sunday. I grew up in a small town called Auburn. And in that town, I was a pretty decent athlete on the local football team and pretty decent in the classroom as well. I was a smart athlete, so to speak, if you want to put it like that. But I wasn't the fastest guy, I wasn't the strongest guy, but I was pretty good. I had a concussion my senior year in high school. And during my recovery or my assessment in the hospital, I had the opportunity to be entertained or taken care of by a nurse practitioner. And I loved what she did. And it was her bedside demeanor, how she explained things. And it was like I was intrigued. So also my dad's brother my uncle is a nurse in the military, and he's actually a nurse practitioner as well. So I kind of knew what nursing was about, but I didn't have a lot of family members that were nurses. And again, oddly, you think about nursing as mainly female. My uncle is a nurse, a great nurse practitioner. So long story short, I can remember after my concussion going back to my high school counselor and telling her that I wanted to be a nurse. I thought I wanted to be a nurse because I like people. I rarely meet a stranger. I can talk to just about anyone. And I like helping people. So I figured nursing would be a good fit, and I'd always have a job, for the rest of my natural life. Mm-hmm. And so I can remember going to the guidance counselor office, and she looked up at me and was like, "Son, you're going to be playing football somewhere. Get out of my office." She didn't take me serious because, again, I was a jokester. I was I was in the in crowd in school and made everybody laugh. But I was also, I was a smart kid. So I was very persistent. So I kept pushing. Ms. Stevenson, how do I become a nurse? What do I need to do? So I did my research, went to the library, and see, I'm back in the old days with card catalog and all of that. See, these kids today don't know nothing about that. Yeah. But I did the research. I figured out what I needed to do. But what's interesting is I'm the first generation college graduate. So my mom and dad were great providers. I love them to death. They gave me everything that I needed, and I appreciate them because they are the reason I am who I am today. But they couldn't really help me with the college journey because they didn't have that opportunity. So for me, right out of high school at 17, I enrolled in the LPN program back in Alabama, Trenholm State Technical College. And because I needed to make sure that I could do this, because I'm going to tell you this, they didn't expect me to be a nurse simply because of who I am and how I look, the image. They didn't expect to see a black male go into nursing. Typically, me as a black male, I was always seen as the orderly, housekeeping, patient escort. I was never the nurse, even in training with the big badge and name, all that stuff we had to wear for the school. They still thought that, I was not the nurse. But starting in that LVN program helped me kind of, scratch the surface of where I could go with nursing. I learned about the many different roles, and I had some great instructors at Trenholm State Technical College. And long story short, after I finished that LPN program at 18, I'm about to turn 19. I was one of the youngest in the class. There was only 5 men in the class. Only 4 of us made it. Finished, graduated, got my license, got my first job, and I immediately applied to the local Troy State University. It's Troy University now, but back then, Troy State University ADN program. Started there. I completed the program. I actually met my wife in that program. So that was one of the success stories of being in nursing school. Now, again, like I said, I'm a jokester. I like to laugh a lot. So me, when I went to college, I'm like, nursing school is a no-brainer. That's where all the women are. So it's a buffet over there, so I get to pick up the letter. So I finished school, met her. We got married at the end of my program. And then I went back to Auburn University, got my bachelor's. And then I worked for about 10 years in the intensive care unit. This is where I identified a problem. In intensive care, I saw a lot of men, black and brown, that looked like me. They were around my age, and I had so many uncomfortable conversations at the bedside with family members encounters with these men that were dying prematurely from things that we could have done something about. You know, heart failure at an early age, kidney disease at an early age, heart attacks, and things that could have easily have been addressed. And I started asking myself the question, what is going on in my community? Why are we dying? I mean, we know the issues in our community. We all know that. We don't need to rehash it on this podcast. That's for another time. But when it came to health, Black men in particular did not go to the doctor. We did not trust the doctor. We already know about those social determinants and all that stuff that, you know, we've experienced in this country. And I wanted to figure out how I could maybe be a catalyst to something different when it comes to us understanding our health, having better, you know, knowledge about it, and being able to advocate for what we needed. So I figured then, I said, you know what, I want to become a nurse practitioner because I think I can help a lot more people in that role.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I had, again, I've talked to people easily. I have a pretty good sense of humor, and the family members always was coming, where's Eric? Where's Eric? You want to talk? And then I got encouraged to come out to do a few talks at local churches. This was before I became an NP. And this was my purpose. And I've been doing that ever since. I've been working as a nurse practitioner. I've been on social media here. I've taken a break here for a while, but I've been doing education on, you know, common health problems that men face. And I've been sharing that information abroad, you know, on the social media platforms. And that's why I'm here. That's my purpose, is to help leaders who are better than I found it by educating our people and empowering them with the knowledge they need so they can better care for themselves and know what they need to do when it comes to their health.
Wow.
Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that definitely did. I mean, you shared so many things there. I mean, just the last thing I'll say when you said, and that was my purpose, it was like, yes, you know, we have to absolutely live with purpose. You know, it can't be because, you know, it's for that bag, you know, that's for sure, or for the glitz and the glam, for the popularity, you know, you experienced something when you were young, you know, and you had that exposure. Thank God, you know, it's kind of, you know, almost a blessing in disguise, so to speak, you know, having been a young man and being injured, but being exposed to a nurse practitioner to even get a glimpse of what that could be like to almost return that favor, so to speak, you know, because for myself, even until I met a nurse practitioner, I didn't realize that that's what I wanted to do myself as a women's health nurse practitioner. So here we are, women's health nurse practitioner and men's health nurse practitioner on today's podcast. But, you know, what I heard from you too was, you know, what we have heard a lot sometimes from men in nursing is that they have been mistaken for the orderly and the nurse's aide and all these other things. Even if you got your badge on, and sometimes men still experience that, but just in general, Black people still experience that today by, you know, patients and other staff being confused or surprised that, oh, you're the nurse. And it's like, yes, I am the nurse, you know, or even the nurse practitioner now in this particular matter. But, you know, what I love differently about what happened for you when you were told by your counselor, and your counselor said, oh, no, you know, you're probably going to be playing sports. Go ahead and, you know, go ahead and grab that ball, son. And it's just like, you know, that just frustrates me that people who never went into this career field are steering people away from it. And then you are using somebody's physical makeup or physique to, you know, say that that's what their career field is going to be. I mean, why can't it be this and, you know, or why does it have to be that only? You know, you may have had that physique and you may have had that, you know, skill ability in sports, but that doesn't mean that that was all you were destined for. Like you said, you have a purpose, you know, and God allowed for you to be able to go through that experience as a teen and persevere and push and research anyway, because some people get deterred and they give up and they're like, yeah, she's probably right. But you kept going and then, you know, went on to nursing, you know, made your way up from LPN and went through a community college. Shout out to the community college nurses and associate nurses out there. Yes, we are here because I'm one too. And then, of course, you met your wife along the way. So thank God for that injury, right?
Amen.
Whole family and everything off of it.
All
And
right.
the Father's Day to you as well.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate it.
You know, and so I really love, just hearing that background and story, because sometimes we can we hear the bio, we hear what you're currently doing, but I think it's always just nice to kind of look back to see where people came from, what they persevered through, what their experience was. So when the next nurse or future nurse experiences this, they can say, wait a minute now, I heard him do it and he went through it and he, persevered and did this and that. I can do it too. Because that's really what I love being able to do, is make sure to expose the next generation to, so that they can see what they can be, because you can't be what you can't see anymore. We see it. You got a Black male nurse and nurse practitioner right here in front of you. So if you are a Black male nurse, or a future nurse rather, you know that you can do this too, just by hearing his story and persevering nevertheless. And you might find you a love interest while you're at it along the way too.
Yeah, that just happened to I just happened to run into her, and she was a great person, and I knew she was a wife, and I felt like God had placed her in my path for a reason, and the rest is history. We've been married. We'll be celebrating 25 years here in August. But I will say, Ms. Flowers, this journey was not easy. I don't know if that's one of your questions, but I'd be happy to share some of that as well, because even with my perseverance and my persistence getting to where I am today, it was so many obstacles. Some were just systematic obstacles that were there, and some were intentionally placed. Again, I was always one of few in every program I enrolled in. It was never more than 5 Black men or 5 men of color. Never. We were always put on the spot for certain things. It was almost like questioning our intelligence. Why are we here? I was actually asked in one class by one of the females why I was in this class, because she was like, "Well, why? This is a nursing class." I'm like, "Yeah," but she was almost trying to tell me like athletics is in the other building. It's like it was like a joke, So when I got in the class, I already knew I'm gonna have to bite my tongue in here. I see, because I'm gonna be told some these folks. I'm gonna be saying some stuff that is appropriately inappropriate. But I know I had a family and a community praying for me, because again, I was educated in Alabama. I'm gonna just let that sink in. Y'all, we're in 2024, but Alabama is still stuck in a time. Matter of fact, it ain't just Alabama; it's just the South. Because even though I'm in Houston, I came to Houston and experienced some things that I never thought I'd experience, being called the N-word and a few other things. I used to have to give my resume at least once a month to, patients that barely had a high school diploma, because they didn't think I was supposed to be doing what I was doing. Who gave you this? How did you get here? Who did you sleep with to get here? All this crazy stuff. It's like you're not educated enough to be there. So it wasn't easy. And I don't try to dwell on it, because if I were to do that, it would just stall what I'm doing, and it would hold me back. But I use that as how can I put it? I use it as fuel to my fire of my purpose. To keep pushing forward, because I know people that look like me need the information that I share, and I don't do it for clout. I've been blessed beyond my wildest imaginations to be doing what I'm doing today. I have to pinch myself sometimes because it don't seem real, but I do want to encourage young people that look like you and me, especially men. If you're looking for a great opportunity to be able to make a difference in this world and be able to provide for your family, nursing is a no-brainer. People are living longer, and they're living sicker lives, and they will always need some sort of health care. And if you play your cards right, you can parlay that thing into so many different avenues in nursing, such as what Ms. Flowers is doing here with her wonderful podcast and many other endeavors she's doing in the women's health arena. There's so many options as nurse. You can work everywhere. You don't just have to be in a hospital. There's plenty of money to be made. It is just up to you, your drive, your desire. And again, you got to check the boxes in the classroom for sure. But once you get those licenses, the sky is literally the limit. So But it's been a great journey, though.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing those extra, experiences that you went through and everything. And then just also encouraging, students and everything, especially Black males, to go into this field. And yeah, absolutely. I was actually just at a school yesterday. I was actually at UIC yesterday, University of Illinois at Chicago, talking to a group of Black youth, specifically about what you were saying, the steps of how to become a nurse, the diversity in nursing, not just working in a hospital. You can work on a cruise ship, you can work in a prison, you can work at home. I mean, a helicopter. I mean, you can work everywhere and anywhere. There's well over 90 something specialties, in nursing. It's so diverse. And so, I am blessed, as you mentioned as well, I'm blessed to be able to have not only this platform with the podcast, but everything I do with the coaching and the exposure and everything I do for Black youth. And so thank you for doubling down on that by, also reiterating next generation about becoming nurses. And so I really appreciate you for that. I definitely got some more questions down in the queue. So I will stop out for a second for us to go into a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Cool. All right.
Do you remember that day you were sitting in high school and one of your instructors started talking about it's time to start preparing your mind for college, thinking about where you want to go, setting goals for the test scores that you'll need to apply, the grades that you need to get while you're here, going on college tours, and making sure you apply for scholarships. That time it may have been new to you, but after a while, this is something you've heard time and time again. Not only from your guidance counselor, but probably every teacher you've had along the way. You already know. This is what they do when they talk about college prep. But did they teach you about the career that you wanted to pursue? Something more specific. Something to get your career plans set more in motion. You don't see yourself sitting in that classroom anymore. When you were sitting there daydreaming, you know what you were thinking about? You were thinking about yourself sitting at the nurse's station at your local hospital, saving lives using the art and science of what nurses do.
Go ahead and schedule your one-on-one discovery call today. Hey, my fellow healthcare professionals. Were you checking out this luxury green scrub top with regal gold on the sleeves I'm wearing in today's episode? Today's Black-owned business moment is brought to you by Be Royal, founded by a Black male nurse, quote, to inspire confidence, elevate professionalism, and challenge stereotypes. This top is soft and stretchy, has hidden side pockets with a zipper, and best of all, the signature Be Royal embroidery for the culture, because representation matters. Make sure to support this nurse-owned, Black-owned, and male nurse-owned business this month of June for Men's Health Month, Juneteenth, and beyond.
All right, we are back. I wanted to again say happy Juneteenth, y'all. Happy Men's Health Month. We are here with Eric Taylor, founder of Pryority Male LLC, my fellow colleague, nurse practitioner.
So we talked about some of your background, and we also talked about some of the challenges and, discrimination and different things that you faced along your nursing school journey and nursing career journey. Tell us now, what have been some of the most rewarding and challenging aspects of your various roles in nursing, from critical care to primary care and beyond?
I'll start with the challenges. The challenges I see in healthcare is we never have enough time to spend with our patients. And I know you can speak to that.
Yes, absolutely.
There's not enough time in a 13 to 20-minute visit to address the many things need to be addressed. And a lot of it just stems from education. I'm not a big proponent of just throwing prescriptions at patients. I like to listen to what they, said, what they're doing, offer some suggestions that are not always medicinal in nature. But again, medicines complement the diet and lifestyle modifications and other things that they may be doing, from home remedies and herbal things and such, all of that stuff. But that's one of the challenges that I really face. And that's why I kind of branched off and kind of start doing some of my own thing where I can kind of control the time and really give a quality visit. But in my main job is just not enough time. But some of the rewards is to be able to see someone come in that didn't trust the system with a condition that was out of control, see someone that looks like them, you make that connection. You relax their guard, they bring down their walls, and they let you into their world. And then you can lead them anywhere. Yeah. And most of the times that turns out to be one of your best patients, and you help them turn all of their conditions that were out of control. You're able to help them turn it around. And they always want to give you credit for it. And I just be like, look, I'm just a vessel.
Right. Amen.
Through me to help you, but you have trusted me enough to allow me to share this information with you. And actually, we're making shared decisions together. I'm your co-pilot here. You're driving, so we both wreck. But if you listen to me with some of the directions and where we're going, I can help you get there, help you navigate this wellness journey. So those are some of the things that really I really hold dear and near to my heart. Those success stories where I have. And a lot of times it's the wives that will bring the patients to me. And the patients won't want to talk. Men don't want to talk, but the wife will come in and just run the list. She'll run it down. She'll give him that look, and then he'll be like, yeah, she right, doc. And then I'm able to really, again, help get into that circle, gain their trust, and really help them take their health to the next level. So I have a lot of stories like that. And I have patients today that I no longer see in certain departments that see me. When they see me, they stop, they want to talk. They want to catch up because we have that kind of relationship. And then I'm able to help them, find providers in the community that will be similar to the relationship we had and help them continue on their health journey. So, but the other challenges still exist as far as, me still getting the acceptance of being a nurse practitioner. I don't wear my lab coat a lot because the lab coat can be intimidating. I'm not sure if you've experienced that. It's intimidating for some people, and it can cause them to have elevated blood pressure and anxiety and all that other stuff. So I'm always in something that's very comfortable and relaxed. I'm always in and I love that commercial, B. Roy. I'm definitely going to go follow him. I may even buy some scrubs.
Yes.
I try to relax the environment with my presentation. And I'm always very down to earth. I don't always come out the gate talking medical jargon. I just want to know how they're doing. And then the conversation kind of lends itself to the different questions that we have to ask to try to get to the bottom of why they're there. And just make it personal, personal to them. And that's what works for me. And it has been very successful here with patients. And I thank God for the gift to be able to have that kind of ability to connect with people.
Wow, that's amazing. One of the words, as soon as you said that word, it rang in my ears when you said they let you into their world and they trust.
Yes.
And it was like, yes, because the medical mistrust of just in general from the Black community, but also from men and even more the Black men. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. You already
Um,
know, sis. You know.
Ooh, ooh, it's hard, Laura. Sometimes you got to break down some walls of ice. I'm trying to tell you. And I'm glad for the wives too, because that's why I do what I do. Because I figure, I'm not just taking care of women, I'm taking care of communities. Because if I can get to them and take good care of their health, they can then go and be better moms and parents to their kids if they have them, to their partners and significant others, and urge them in their health. But if they're not taking care of themselves, that household is not just likely not doing too good, because
So
that mom half the time is the one scheduling the doctor's
yep.
appointments and making sure everybody's vaccines and all this other stuff is going on. And so I'm grateful to do what I do, as well as you doing what you're doing. But yeah, that trust part is big, really, and I love what you talked about with the relationships as well. Because Lord have mercy, I could be running from seeing a patient, and I'm like, I can finally get some lunch, and they like, doc. I'm like, oh, they caught me.
Yep, they got you. And you got to stop and talk. You just
They
can't
caught
pass
me
them
in
up.
the hallway, and then they're like, oh, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's really something. So, but having that relationship really is key, especially being in the Black community and being a Black provider, a face that looks like them. And so they're able to be able to better feel that trust. And what you mentioned about the white coat, yes, absolutely right. White coat syndrome is real. I've definitely seen it myself. The anxiety has been up there sometimes. But I think I break them down a little bit. I just throw the fashion in there. So even if I had the lab coat on, I come in there and I got my frames. I got on some cute little
Okay.
outfit or something. So it's just like I come in there dressy. I'm one of their girlfriends. I know I got them, and they like, girl, tell you, I'm like, yep, all right.
There
Now
we
we can
go.
get down to what you here for.
That's what's up.
Then you can kind of better really tell like what's going on. Sometimes as soon as I walk in the door, it's like, let me tell you about this. Okay, well, hey, well, welcome. Well, I ain't welcome you. Say what you're here for. Do my normal, speech of what I say when I come in the room. But it's all good as long as we get you taken care of in that little 15, barely 20 minute, if you get that type of slot.
Yep.
Care of these people, because that is definitely some of the challenges that we have in healthcare, especially in primary care. Most, for sure. I did want to know a little bit more about your critical care background, because I know a lot of students now today actually want to go into critical care just in itself. Some of the students and future nurses want to go into critical care as a step to go towards something like CRNA, for instance. So
Yeah.
can you tell us about what drew you to critical care, and just some of the rewards and challenges of that?
Yeah, so critical care, I had an opportunity coming out of nursing school. There was like a job fair at my school, and the local hospital at the time had some representatives there, and they had a short internship kind of in the ICU. And I worked in the prison before, so I know what correctional medicine looks like. And I'll just say this: that's a place I'd rather work, not stay.
Right.
So be careful what you're doing out there in the streets, because that stuff you see on TV, that's half the story when it comes to prison life. But anyway, I applied for the job in the internship and I got it, and it was in CCU at the time. And I just fell in love with. I felt like I had more time, even though I only had two patients and they were very, very sick. But I had more time with the patients, the team of doctors, and other ancillary staff, and then to be able to talk to the family at the bedside versus being on the med surg floor where my wife worked and you got 6, 7, 8 patients or however many with a team to care for. You really can't give that care you want to give. So,
Yeah.
but I learned so much about the critical side of health. And I did that for 10 years. I did CCU, MICU, and every now and then I would float to SICU. But predominantly my career was in MICU. So, the
Okay.
MICU is the dump. That's the pits. They bring everything there, sepsis, urosepsis, codes, and everything that CCU don't want, SICU don't want, and any of the other ICUs in the hospital. What they don't want, they send it to MICU. So I got an opportunity to really hone in on some critical care skills, IV, all the intubation, all that stuff. So when I transitioned into NP school and became a primary care provider, I have seen the worst of the conditions and know what that looks like. It helped me be very proactive with my patients as far as managing their conditions and be able to give them some great scenarios about where this could potentially go if we don't do something about it, because I had the lived experience and clinical experience. But it was a great time. I had some great people that I worked with. I learned so much information I gathered working in ICU that still helps me out today, that makes me the great provider that I am today. And I'm very appreciative for that opportunity. I did the CCRN status, all that stuff. I mean, you name it, I did it. And I was pretty good in the ICU. And I do miss those days. But that was in the early part of my career, and I wouldn't dare try to do that now. But if you're looking to become a CRNA, Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, you definitely got to have ICU. Most schools require 1 year minimum of ICU experience. They don't really specify, but you need to get in a large trauma hospital if you can to get that experience, because it will help you. It will help you in your future endeavors when it comes to your clinical experience. Let's see. Hold on. I'm sorry. Just a moment. But I really had a great time with that, and it helped me again become who I am today. So I would encourage you. There's an internship. Most schools, most hospitals now will not hire a new grad in ICU unless they go through their internship program. And honestly, having done this before, I would recommend an internship, because you need someone that can be a mentor for you, that can help guide you, because there are going to be some very critical situations where an inexperienced nurse could be more harm than help. So you really want, to get in, and if you can get in that internship program, definitely take advantage of it. And again, if you can work at ICU, you can work anywhere.
Man, and you laid it out. That's what I call a pill of wisdom, and we ain't doing pearls of wisdom, we doing pills of wisdom. You dropped a lot of information, so I hope y'all that's listening, I know for that. And you dropped a lot of acronyms too. So so you spelled out CRNA for the listeners maybe who aren't familiar. So Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist. ICU, a lot of people may be familiar with intensive care unit. You mentioned MICU. I think you said that folks, they kind of bring the quote unquote
the medical intensive care unit is like anything medical that comes through the door that's sick enough for ICU, sepsis, urosepsis, postcode, osteomyelitis. I mean, you pick those conditions that don't require surgical intervention or cardiothoracic intervention, like heart cath, stuff like that. It's pretty clear with the heart, it's in the CCU. That's cardiac critical care. SICU is going to be your surgical intensive care. So anytime you have some kind of trauma where you have to go to surgery, you're likely going to go to the SICU, the surgical intensive care. But there's some other shock trauma. They got a lot of new ICUs out there, intermediate.
Like, where did they do that?
Yeah. But MICU I would encourage MICU because you see all of those. Not only do you see your medical issues that require critical care, you also will have overflow from cardiac critical care and surgical critical care and whatever other critical care unit that may be in your hospital, because in MICU, you should be able to take care of just about everything.
Okay. It's almost like the med surge of ICUs in a way. If you
there you go. That's it.
Okay. All righty. I see. I just learned something, because I'm like, okay, I've heard of ICU, I've heard of NICU, I've heard of PICU, but I'm in, women's health and babies and stuff. So I guess that's where my mind was. And a lot of my nursing background was like outpatient more than anything, not so much in the hospital. So when you started dropping, I said, wait a minute, I might have to take some notes too now. So,
And you also mentioned that you had a CCRN. Can you explain that? I'm aware, but I want you to kind of tell folks of what the CCRN is.
Okay, so the CCRN is a nationally recognized credential that you have to take a test for. You have to study. You have to be in the ICU for about a year before I think you can take the test. But you have to study, and then you have to pay for the test, and you have to sit. It's like taking your licensure to become a nurse. But this is geared towards critical care. And this tests your knowledge to the level of what they need the national bar to be for people to become and use that credential. And with that credential, it really adds value to your CV, your clinical experience, and then down the road where you might want to go with your nursing career, because not a lot of people can take and pass that course. But once you complete the course, you're current. And you have the CCRN credentials behind your name, and you wear that with pride, because that means that you have really gone through the rigors of what it takes to do the clinical aspect of it and the academic aspect of taking care of patients in a critical care environment. And again, I learned so much with working up to that and processing through the CCRN coursework that, again, it continues to pay dividends today in my career. And I don't even work in ICU now. So, definitely a great option to consider.
Okay. Yeah, you got that alphabet soup looking at your bio. I said, my God. Woo, you had some experience. Okay. Thank you so much for breaking a lot of that down for me even, and for the audience, the listening and watching audience as well on some of that, We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back, and we're going to close on out with the last couple of questions. I really appreciate you being here today.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you, sis. Sorry.
Attention business owners. Are you ready to tap into the fast-growing market of the nursing community? Partner with us to showcase your products or services to this dedicated audience. Nursing programs, especially at HBCUs, educational programs like CNA, phlebotomy, and CPR, healthcare staffing agencies, and businesses focused on self-care and mental health support. If you're a business focused on providing solutions for the nursing inspired, our platform provides a unique opportunity to especially connect with future nurses eager to invest in their education and career. You could be next for a sponsorship advertising opportunity on the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Contact us at info@nursinginspired.com to learn more about advertising opportunities today.
Years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
so we are back. It's, all about the next generation for me, all about the youth, absolutely. And so I wanted to actually know, I saw from your background too that you have also been working in education, actually, as a nurse educator. So can you tell us about your experience as a nurse educator, a clinical instructor, and just, what that's been like for you?
I pray for the next generation. Technology has, how can I put this in a nice way? I'm trying to be nice about this. The next generation has access to things that you and I probably in our educational journey couldn't have even imagined. You have right here at your fingertips a supercomputer.
Right.
And a lot of times they don't even know how to use it properly, or they use it as a crutch and don't have the knowledge here. And I always say they know everything, but don't know nothing at the same time. So it's like, you give them study assignments to study, outlines, rubrics, all this stuff. And you tell them that it's very important that you commit this to memory, because at some point technology may not be there and you're not going to be able to depend on it. So you need to have this, stored in your, my brain so you can use it later. But I would see a lot of them. I'd have them on the spot in clinical, settings. And I'd ask a question that to me should be very simple, because we've gone over the information. You've studied that particular subject material. And then we get in the clinical setting and you see a patient with this. And then I ask questions that, most clinical instructors are going to ask. And then immediately pull out their phone. I'm like, wait a minute. Why you can't do this? You don't want to do this in front of the patient. I'm glad I'm here, but we need to make sure we've done our part to study and learn and commit this to memory. Some things, of course, you're going to have to look up, because some things are going to be rare. You're not going to see them that often. But once you do it enough, it'll become second nature to you. But I think our generation coming behind us is too dependent on technology to guide their practice. And I get it, evidence-based medicine and all the new protocols and updates that we're seeing, with ATP3 and all this JNC. I get it. Get that. But the practice of, providing care in medicine, it's evolving as we speak. But there are some things that are foundational that don't change much. And some people don't even have foundation to build from, because they have been so dependent on technology to help them through their journey. And I see that AI being infused currently in our society. AI is definitely going to change where healthcare is going. I mean, you think about what COVID did. It changed the landscape when it came to telemedicine, because telemedicine is out there, but not used near as much as it is now because of what COVID did. So I enjoy dealing with the next generation of nursing students, because they keep me fresh. That's one thing I really like, is that I'm forced to really stay up to date with all of the new things that are happening and evolving in the practice of medicine and as an advanced practice provider. Challenges is this generation can be quite challenging, and they have no problem pushing the envelope and questioning everything. But then too, I find they want to be spoon fed a lot of the time, and I'm not that kind of instructor. I will help you get there where you're going, but you're gonna have to show me that you have vested interest in this as well. I'm not gonna just continue to spoon feed you all the way, because I can't take the test for you. But I can guide you along the way. I can give you nuggets of knowledge and drop some pills of wisdom, as you said. But at the end of the day, if you ain't picking up what I'm putting down, why are we doing this? And the other hard part I say is to identify a student that probably shouldn't be a nurse practitioner. And that's one thing I had to identify real quick, sis, is everybody that's a nurse can't be a nurse practitioner, can't be a certified registered nurse anesthetist, can't be a clinical nurse specialist. Not everybody's cut out for the advanced practice roles. And you know that all. I've probably seen some students as well that they go straight through. You know what I'm talking about? And there are some students I've seen that have been professional students that have gone straight through programs without stopping to implement the clinical knowledge and skills in practice. But that's something I would not advise from the many years I've been doing this. I would advise after each, goal that you accomplish, you stop and you try to implement that into practice and make sure that what you just went through and completed, you now can hone in those skills and you got a good grasp of the knowledge, and then you can then entertain that next chapter. But I've had several students that have gone BSN to DNP, and they can quote all the stuff out the book. But when it comes to applying it clinically, they're lost. It's like a fish out of water. So that's one of the challenges that I've seen with academics. But I do like it because I like to be able to see the light come on. I see the light flicker, but when the light comes on and it stays on, you be like, yes, I got one. All right, he's gonna be a great NP. You know, that's rewarding. But those ones that kind of continue to flicker and they never really come on, and they still look like the deer in the headlight. You probably shouldn't be doing this. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Fun times, though. Fun times.
Wow. And all of your education experience and working in education, rather, has that just been at the nurse practitioner level, or have you also been at the pre-licensure stage as well?
No, it's well, I've always been a preceptor in a hospital. I've been precepting since I've been a nurse. I precepted in the ICU. I was part of the new registered nurse residency program. I was always a mentor somewhere or a preceptor somewhere. I taught in the Center of Excellence, Primary Care Center of Excellence, where we had I forget the total number of residents we had, but it's a 1-year residency for NPs in primary care. Great program. But we lost funding and the program ended. They're looking at bringing it back. And we're looking at partnering with not just NPs, but also including PAs and psychologists and pharmacists as well in the next cohort of students. So that was a great program. I enjoyed that. But, you know, I've always been in education to some extent, whether it was formal at an actual institution or internal in my organization that I work for. I was always, you know, helping the next generation get them ready to take over leadership roles.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you shared quite a bit here. I love everything that you were, you know, sharing with those pills of wisdom, especially about that technology and AI. Because I tell the story all the time about how we had tape recorders, you know, when I was in nursing school.
You dated yourself.
That's how we studied, you know. We would listen back to our tape recorder, you know, how we were doing our laundry and dishes and stuff like that. That's how we studied, you know. We didn't have Quizlet and all these apps on our phone and all these things. But we really have to look. I mean, I wish I would pull out my phone in clinical. I just can't even imagine pulling out my phone in clinical. Now, I mean, even now as a nurse practitioner, you know, I'm typing on the computer and I'm working with patients, but at the same time, I might hurry up and look something up, you know, as I'm talking to them, because I'm like, but I try to make sure to prepare myself in the hallway or before I go in the room. Like, okay, I see they got these complaints and concerns. I see they got this past medical history. Let me re-review something if something is I'm not fully sure on, you know. But come on now. Like you said, pray for this generation, and we know prayer works. Hallelujah.
Right now.
And that be young in age. They could just be young or you know, novice in nursing, as we say, you know, as well. So we talked a lot about a lot of your different background, you know, just all of your work and working in education. But what we haven't really delved into is my last question for you is about your business. Well, you know, we got this right here, founder of Pryority Male, ladies and gentlemen, listening and watching, Eric Taylor here. So can you tell us about the founding of Pryority Male LLC and what motivated you to focus on men's health and wellness education?
Well, great question, sis. I appreciate you asking that. So, you know, as I shared with you earlier in my career, I identified, you know, that men were dying prematurely from things that we could do something about. And I didn't see anyone that really cared enough to do anything from a broad perspective when it comes to men's health. Now, you're a women's health provider. In school, there is an actual women's health course, is there not?
Sure is.
Is there a men's health course anywhere? No, it's not. Because men are lumped into all of the other internal medicine, chronic conditions that we talk about, and we're taught in school about, but we have a whole semester, maybe two, dedicated to women's health, pregnancy, all the way through labor and delivery, but nothing for men.
Yeah.
So, and having seen what I saw with men, you know, again, dying from those conditions, I said, you know what, somebody got to do something here. So I took it upon myself. Pryority Male, where men's health is the priority, was birthed into me. And I started out slow on social media. Again, I told you I was speaking at churches and local community centers and different organizations around the city of Houston where they would gather, and, you know, we can get men to come in without having to kind of push them to come in. They were coming anyway. And the barbershop is another place that I went to as well, because if you think about it, in our community, we going to the barbershop. We're going to get that crispy line we still got hair. So you get them, come in, and you try to educate them, and you try to share some common knowledge about the common conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and all those things, the preventive stuff. You know, you talk about the screening of conditions that take place between, you know, 40 and about 75. That's where the bulk of life's health screenings takes place for men. Yeah. For women, y'all start earlier because of your cycle and your breast. You have to have things done earlier. But for men, the bulk of our screenings typically take place between the fourth decade and the mid seventh decade. So 40 to 75. So I would take that time to educate men on things that they need to be proactive about. You know, prostate, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, and things of that nature. And I say, you know what, maybe I can reach more people online. So I came online, and again, prior to me, I would do a 3-minute spiel where I pick a condition or pick a question, and then I just run it down. And then I'd add my personality, I'd add my humor, because I wanted to make them laugh and learn. Because with men, if they laugh about something, it's gonna stick. And I used to always use the mechanical aspect, because men are more mechanically inclined. We see things mechanically a lot of times. You know, we'll take better care of the car, the truck, the tractor than we will this body. And we only get one body, but we're going to have several other vehicles in our lifetime. So I always use that check engine light, you know, analogy. When the check engine light comes on in your car, what do? Most men be like, oh, I'm going to call so-and-so, I'm going to get my wrenches, I'm going to go. Okay, yeah, your body has a check engine light as well, but it doesn't pop up like it does on the dashboard in your car. But when you have those subtle changes in your health, your symptoms, short of breath, swollen ankles, you know, problems urinating, that's your body's internal check engine light. What do you do about it? Most men, I ain't going to see no doctor. You know, you already know the spiel. Yeah. So I use that as a way to take them down the path of what you would do diagnostically for your body, this vehicle through life, versus that mechanical vehicle. And then again, I add certain things that men can relate to, and then we laugh and learn together. And it's been a great experience. And I want to motivate them, educate them, and help them navigate their wellness journey. If you think about motivate, educate, navigate, that spells men. First letters in those words is men.
Oh, okay.
You know? So, and then again, priority male. Men are the priority. Because without men, women are great, y'all. We wouldn't be here without y'all, and y'all are the nurturers and the first educators of our family. But men as the protectors and providers, especially in our community, we are needed now more than ever because of what's happening in our communities, what's happening with the attack on our image, our culture, and the lack of strong masculine men is a problem in our community, in our society. Especially Black masculine men. If you look at what's going on in the media right now, they don't want to talk to masculine Black men. Think about it. Think about it, what's happening. A masculine Black man will get suppressed. And I've experienced this on TikTok because my image, my message is overall positive, and I don't get into some of the ratchet foolishness that we like to do, some of the challenges. You know what I'm talking about. We could really have that conversation. I ain't gonna blow up your podcast with that. But they don't want to hear that message because I'm not supposed to have that, because the media controls my image, and my image is that of a negative image. If you think about it, I'm not a good father. I'm not a good husband. I'm a womanizer. You know, I've been to jail. I don't pay my bills. All the negative attributes are applied to me and you, but more so me for sure, because I'm not, as a father, I'm not appreciated until I don't do what is expected of me. But when I'm on my square, I'm on my P's and Q's, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a man, providing, protecting, being the priest, all those things that men are supposed to do. It can be challenging at times because they don't expect that.
Yeah.
And when you don't fit the stereotype, they have to take a second look. And they like caught off guard. And I get asked a lot of times questions that you speak so well. And I don't always like to take that as a compliment, because what do you expect?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and but yeah, so that we can really have a different conversation there, sis, but I don't want to, we meant to do a part 2.
We're gonna have to do a part 2.
So yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
Pryority Male came from all of that, and it exists today. And I do some telemedicine activities today. I do a lot of health education today. I've because I have so many other jobs in Pryority Male, I didn't want to focus on the main clinical aspect. It's more so question and answer, help you advocate, help you navigate the healthcare system, because you know how difficult the healthcare system is, how robust it is. There's so many moving parts. And if you have a loved one that go to the hospital, you better be there with them.
Yeah.
You better go with them, because you need someone that, again, that can ask the right questions, that can advocate, be assertive, but also understanding and work with the team, because I hate to say it, they will say anything to us a lot of times and do the bare minimum a lot of times, and you'll get the short end of the stick, and you hope you survive that admission.
Yeah. Because the research has shown all the things, we don't get the same amount of pain medication. We may not get the same treatment when it comes to cardiac, suspicions for heart attacks and things like that. Just, they think our skin is thicker and that we have a higher pain control and all of these things, right? And then they still haven't done anything about that whole pulse ox situation that they found out about during the pandemic, talking about, your pulse oximetry and all of that, your oxygen saturation, but it's not absorbing through this brown skin, okay?
Yep.
So yeah, you absolutely right, Lord. You dropped some stuff over here.
Answer me this. You're in this arena. Why are so many sisters dying from just childbirth?
Yeah,
Help me
absolutely.
Understand that.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Which I'm gonna have to probably do one on that myself for sure. Maybe even invite some of my colleagues and guests, so to have some dialogue. But yeah, you're right, because you want to have an advocate and somebody with you. That's why I'm so glad on my end of things, and with women's health, that women can now have doulas, and they're passing a lot of legislation for doulas to also be reimbursed and a covered benefit for folks, when they go into the hospital, to kind of reduce some of that, because you need some eyes and ears, because navigating this is terrible. I spend some of my time sometimes with some of my patients, just explaining to them, hey, you didn't have to go to the ER. You went to the ER for that. We got immediate care right across the hall. You didn't have to do that. That's in between the ER and your PCP. Come on now, let's save some time, some money, and still get your health care that you need, But yeah.
Wow.
I am so glad that you stepped out into the arena and seeing, because that's what we see a lot, not only just in men's health in general and life expectancy for men, but Black men. We still see it today with, especially with Black men still dying in the 50s and 60s. And like you mentioned, the screenings don't even start to the 4th decade. And this is like, what? This is a disservice. I'm so glad. And it's a shame that we have to see more men die. But Chadwick Boseman passed away, from colon cancer. And so now they've reduced and I won't say it's directly because of that, but it happened after that. But they reduced the age of colon cancer screening from age down to 45 now. So we are catching more people, especially more Black people and people of color. But, we still got work to do. We still got a ways to go. But I'm so glad that you are doing everything that you are doing with Pryority Male and educating and just, the telehealth and all the things, and just kind of being there for men and everything. And so please tell us how we can find you and follow you and all the things. And I'll make sure I have those also in our show notes for today's show.
All right. And again, thank you so much, sis, for the opportunity to be here on your wonderful platform. And I hope your listeners are picking up what you're putting down, because you are doing great here, and you're going to be doing some really great things here in the near future. So I'm so happy to be a part of what you're doing and the opportunity to share this message. But I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and it's Pryority Male, and it's PRYORITY Now, no, priority is not spelled right, but let me tell you why I did that. Priority is PRIORITY. I changed the I to a Y because it takes an X and a Y chromosome to create a male. That's since, priority male.
Okay.
So it was a play on words. And again, but you can find me. It may be Pryority Male or Pryority Male LLC on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to be doing some stuff on YouTube here. I just got to get everything together in the background to do that. But I'll continue to do some education, and I'll be sharing I'm probably going to broaden the topic, because health can get boring after a while, because if you notice in our world today, the attention span is very short. And if it's not exciting to an extent, or if it's not, how can I put this? If it's not something like a reality TV or some kind of skit, I hate to say it, the attention span is very short when you're talking about stuff that they can really benefit from, because they're looking for the next dance. What is the next trend? Or something like that. So I'm going to probably change it up a little bit more, add a little bit more humor, but also still hit the points that I need to hit when it comes to educating them on health and wellness. But you can find me on any of those platforms, and you can message me on any of those platforms as well. You can also go to www.prioritymale.llc.com. You can send an email, and you can check out and see if there's some services there that you might want to provide. The website is actually being updated as we speak. So if you want to send an email for later stuff, you can do that. But I'm doing a lot of virtual stuff. I'm also working in the prep environment as well. You see all the prep commercials, Apertude, Devato, Descovy, Truvada. I also do that as well. And that is another area that we need to talk about, sexual health and wellness in our community. Because if you didn't know it, syphilis is on the rise again across the nation, and it is out of control. And sadly, it's not who you think it is. So, yeah, but that's another conversation or podcast we could possibly have as well. But yeah, I got my hands in quite a bit. And again, I'm on my purpose. And a lot of this I do with ease because it just comes so natural. And I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just pray God to continue to give me the strength and the guidance that I need to continue on this journey until I can no longer do this,
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was Mr. Eric Taylor, founder of Pryority Male LLC, and so much more. Sir, brother, I am so grateful to you for coming on here with me again today. Again, happy Juneteenth to you. Happy Men's Health Month, happy CNA week, all the things. And happy belated Father's Day to you and to all my listeners as well. Thank you all. It's been a great one.
Yes. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace and many blessings.
All right, Nurse and Inspire family and visitors. Did you know that this podcast has a supporters club? By becoming a supporter of this show for just $7 a month, you can play an active role in helping me to continue producing the content that you love. You can do that through the supporters club or from a one-time donation. Y'all know how the song goes, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, whatever you want to give, do that. And for anybody that's listening, that's a student, you can get a 10% discount on any of my coaching courses and organizational spreadsheets that I have on my online school by just mentioning podcasts in your one-on-one discovery call for your special discount. So I thank you guys again for listening on today on Juneteenth, and we'll see you the next time.
You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations.
All right, it's a wrap. Make sure to watch us live, listen to your favorite podcast locations, leave us a review, or if you'd like to reach out to support this podcast, reach out to me as a speaker, or sign up for coaching, please use your virtual remote. You can give us a review on your favorite place to listen or watch this podcast, such as Google, Yelp, or Trustpilot, and you can reach those from the virtual remote as well by scanning the QR code on the screen or by visiting bit.ly/FutureNursePodcast. Love what we're doing and want to create live streams like this? You can access the sign-up referral link in the show notes for StreamYard. If you'd like to be organized like the virtual remote, consider making one for your next event or as a link in bio with Societap. Please support this Black female-owned company and get yours today.